Okay, well, Grant, first of all, can we start with a bit of a squad update? How is everyone looking ahead of Friday night?
Good. Everyone's fit, which is pleasing really, because they've come through a tough game, but we've had a good week's training, so everyone's fine.
Mike Wilkes was a late injury out, wasn't he, for Sunday? How's he come through the game, and how's he looking this week?
No better, no worse really. He's fine. We've managed him for 1 or 2 days, but he's good to go.
I suppose any player at this point is not going to be telling you, Gaffer, I'm feeling something going into one of the biggest games of the season.
No, well, I mean, he's got through the game well, to be fair. He come alive a bit more in the second half. Maybe a wee bit tentative early part of the game, but he was fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's just it's more of a fatigue muscle. It's injury he's got. It just needs managed for 1 or 2 days, and then he's good. So he's fit and available.
Now the dust has settled on the first leg, what would you say your reflections overall are on that game?
Average first half, good second half. When I say average, I think we didn't do what we've shown most of the season in the first half, and I spoke about this after the game. I don't think we're on the front foot enough. We didn't get after them as much as we did in the second half, and that's something we've taken into consideration this week, us as a staff and a group, and we'll try and learn from it, and we'll approach the game in the right way on Friday.
How much of a compliment did you take from the fact that Charlton changed it up completely to come and face you here?
I'm more worried about my team really. We've come up against a 3 at the back many times this season, and we've performed well against it. We've come up against different formations, so I think one thing we've shown this year is we stick to our beliefs. We stick to what we think we're good at. First half we didn't do what we're good at. Whether we play with a 2 and a 1 or a 1 and a 2 in midfield, the philosophy of this football club never changes while I'm the manager. It'll always be on the front foot, it'll always be high press, it'll always be winning the ball back as quickly as you can, but also when you're in possession, having that freedom and fluency to unlock people and run forward at pace. I think we showed that in the second half, and on reflection, if you see the stats, and we get so many stats in terms of everything you can imagine, but one that stuck out for me was we had 45% possession in the first half compared to 63% in the second. So we sustained attacks so much more. We stayed in their half, we were locking out behind the ball, and we were probing and playing, and got our just rewards at the end.
How much has momentum shifted, do you feel, going into Friday because of that late goal?
Well, I think it's huge. I think the goal's huge, I really do. It gives us a sense of belief now that we can go there and turn the deficit around. It's not easy, it's not going to be easy, but it shouldn't be at this stage. Every game's tight. All the games you've seen in the playoffs so far, they're all tight. We're no different. I was speaking to the boys the other day. I've been in this situation as a player. I remember scoring the second goal that gets us back to 3-2 against MK Dons, and when I was at Peterborough, we had to turn it around in the next game. So it's a great challenge for us, and we'll want to embrace it and enjoy it, play with no fear, and see where it takes us.
I suppose there's plenty of inspiration around recently. Great comebacks from Spurs, Liverpool in the Champions League, Newport doing a brilliant job in the League 2 playoffs. Plenty of inspirations to take all around at the moment. There
is, and we just got to believe it. We've got to this stage now, and it's great to get people saying well done. You've done great to get to this point, and we've played on a lot this season about the underdogs, and we have been. A lot of people have written us off, but we're here because we deserve to be here. Make no mistake about that. We're at this point because we deserve to be here, because we've proven over 46, 47 games that we're a good team. So it's about drumming that back into the group this week. That well done. You have done well to get here, but let's not settle for second best. Let's make sure we give everything. If we come unstuck and it doesn't quite go, then no problem. At least we can hold our hands up and say we may have got beaten by a better team over the 2 games, but we're not thinking of that. We want to make sure we go one step further, and we have to give everything we have for this football club, for themselves, for their families, to see if we can do it.
There's part of the message as well that chances like this don't come along all that often in people's careers sometimes.
Well, we're 2 games away from playing in the Championship, 2 wins. That's what we are. When you say it like that, it does make you think, right, okay, 2 wins away from changing their lives really. that's what it is. You know, everything financially, career-wise. You know, it changes every perspective of every player's life, and that changes them. And I think they've sensed that this week.
Is there a sense that you can use some of the Charlton fans celebrating as well, and the away end singing about Wembley as a motivational factor for your guys as well?
I'm not going to get roped into any of that really. They rightly so. Charlton fans are going to sing that. They're behind their team. I'd hope the Doncaster fans will be there in numbers and cheering us on, and I'm sure they will on Friday night. And that's what fans do. You know, they really do. People get misquoted. People say things, and it comes out and differently in the press. And we're not interested in that. We know what we have to do. It's as simple as that.
So often in a season, journalists will come out with the cliche must win. It is literally that this time, but how important is it to not be chasing the game too early, given that it's only a 1-goal deficit?
Well, we're chasing it. We're 1-0 down, really. But one thing I will say is we are a very good second half team, you know, and this is what it's like. It's like a second half, only a 90-minute second half. So we know we're 1-0 down. We have to get back into the game. Doesn't have to be the first 5 minutes or the first 10. Whenever that may be, then great. But we've got to make sure that it's a no-fear approach from us. It's not sitting back and sitting on 0-0 and see if we can make a goal. We will be giving everything we can to go and score goals.
Is there an advantage that you can have that kind of single mindset, whereas Charlton might be thinking, well, do we stick or twist here?
Yeah, it's a bit of a difficult situation for them, really, but I think they'll be quite confident. But I agree, you know, it is a difficult situation for them and what way they approach the game. You know, if they come with 3, we'll be ready for it. If they come with a 4 down and 2, we'll be ready for it. We've prepared well this week, and we're looking forward to it.
A lot of the attention before the first leg was on your forwards, but it was Matty Blair that came up with the goal, and Danny Andrew rattled the crossbar as well. How much is it that it's the whole squad that is involved in trying to get this deficit back?
Massive. I mean, I touched on this at the start of the year about the fullbacks, how important they are. And those two are very, very important in terms of the way we play. And I thought both of them were excellent in the first game, and we're going to need that from both of them again. You know, and hopefully we can, we can cause them problems.
In terms of travel and preparation, I seem to remember the first game at Charlton. You did a hotel and you stayed over it, and then you changed it for the second game. So you're doing exactly the same again this time?
Yeah, we're back at the same hotel again. Yeah, definitely. So we'll go there. It's a bit of a strange one really, because it's a night kick-off and we don't want to go on the day of the game because of the traffic in London. But we've got some things prepared for the boys that, you know, they don't get too much spare time in a hotel and using about a hotel, because it can make you lethargic. So we've got a plan in place. 4
meetings between yourselves and Charlton now this season. Are there any more surprises that either yourself or Lee Bowie could throw at each other?
I don't know. We'll, we may have 1 or 2 surprises up our sleeve, but in the whole, we won't change. You know, in terms of the way we play, we'll try and play the same as we have all season, because it's got us to this point. And it's a one-off game. It really is. It's whoever wins the game. Charlton obviously don't need to win it, but we need to win it to get to Wembley. And it'll be an unbelievable occasion if we did it.
If it comes to it, penalties. What preparations have you made?
We've practiced this week. They've been good. But it's hard to, you know, like, listen, to score a penalty in the training ground is easy. To score when there's 25,000 people screaming at you is a different kettle of fish. But I'm confident with this group. I think looking at them over the last few days, and especially today, taking them, they look confident. We've got some very good technicians in our team, but there was also some good saves from the keepers, from the 3 keepers. So, you know, if it goes that far, it goes that far. We'd like to try and get it done before that.
Yeah, I mean, how would you describe the belief in your squad right now? Because Charlton's home record is, you know, everyone knows the stats about it, but you've gone there and you have won there this season. Yeah,
I mean, there was a lot of changes in the Charlton team that day, but we had a few changes as well. I remember Malik Wilkes didn't play, so it's a different sort of game. You know, it really is. It's going to be a hostile environment. I think the players love these big occasions. I think they've shown this year in big games. You know, thinking back to the Preston game away from home and things like that, where we've been outstanding. And it's a one-off cup tie. That's what it is. We've done well in the cup this year. You know, we're a decent cup team in terms of the FA Cup anyway. So we just got to make sure we go about our business well.
In terms of a single result, if your side can pull this off on a Friday night, how big a result will this be in the context of your managerial career so far?
It'd be big. I'm not thinking about me. I'm thinking about making sure we get this team ready and right for the game, and we play like we did in the second half. You know, because I believe when we play like that, we're a good team. We're very hard to stop. I spoke about this before. When we don't do some of the things that we have done most of the season, i.e. like the first half, you know, a lot of people may have looked at the first half and thought Doncaster did well for 30 minutes. But if you look back on the game, we looked like a pretty football team with no real end product about us. That's what we looked like. Second half, we looked like more of my team. A team that has energy, zest, aggression, pressing, releasing, probing. You know, we looked like we've shown for 90% of the season second half, and that's what we're about.
To win it then, the real Doncaster has to show up.
It has to. The boys have to stand up and be counted. They do. I do. The players do. The staff do. But we're all looking forward to it. We really are. We're excited to see what happens.
Very best of luck to you.
Thank you.
I think you've touched on it there, Grant, but Charlton were sort of very physically imposing. They've obviously got a lot about them, and a lot of your big players, your match winners, were kind of kept quiet for a lot of the game. Do you need that bit more from your Herbie Kanes, from your Ben White, from the really key men? Do they really need to come to the party? A lot of them.
I think we need to come to the party as a team. We do. We need to come to the party as a team. I think, you know, we win and lose together. Yeah, you know, if we win a game and Marcus scores 2, it's not about John Marcus. We win a game and Malik Wilkes scores 2, it's not about Malik Wilkes. We do it together. So we need everyone to come to the party on Friday. Everyone needs to step up to the plate, play with freedom, play with expression, enjoy it, smile on your face, but knowing that you are going to run until you can't run anymore for this team on Friday night, and see where we go.
It's going to be lively down there. There's going to be a sellout crowd almost. How do you handle that occasion? Because recently up at Sunderland it looked like it. That sort of first 10-15 minutes it might have been it got a bit too much for something like that.
It's a bigger stadium. It's more fans. There's more fans than us. The pitch doesn't change. That's the way I see it. We just got to make sure we play the game, not the occasion. I've said this before in some of the derby games this year. Just because they're making a lot of noise doesn't mean we can't play our way. You know, so the boys will thrive on the atmosphere. I think they'll look forward to it. You know, the bigger occasion, and this is what we want to be at next season. You know, we want to be in this stage. This is another test for us. You know, we want to get to this stage next year, where every away game's like that. You know, 25,000-30,000 there, and no better time to show you can do it.
Grant, do you think nerves would be more of a factor for Charlton going into the match because they're defending a slender advantage?
Well, I think there'll be a few questions in terms of the staff and how they approach the game, because I think our second half performance was very good. I really do. The goal as well, it maybe made them think differently. But we'll just make sure we get this right. We have to go there and just play with everything we have. We do. It's a one-off game, and we'll see where we go.
And as you've mentioned, it's a matter of attacking straight away and going for it, not sort of soaking up the pressure.
Definitely. No holds barred approach. We've got to make sure we go for the juggler. I'm not a safety person. I'm not one that says stay in the game. I never have been. We will go for it.
What was the mood like in the dressing room after the first leg? Were players down, or were they sort of saying...
First half, really down. Really down. I think we all felt as if we had let ourselves down a bit. And very quiet and subdued. I think the reaction from the group in the second half, and one thing this group has is a real determination to react and to respond. Whether we lose a game or lose 2 games, then they respond. Whether we're 1-0 down or 2-0 down, they respond. And we're going to need them to respond, because we're 1-0 down. We're approaching this game 1-0 down, so we need to respond in the right fashion.
And for younger players like Herbie Kane, this must be a great experience, taking part in these kind of games for the first time.
Massive experience for Herbie. You know, it's a big experience, big learning curve from this year. From going from having played a game in the Football League to, I think he must be over 55 games, something like that this year he's played. So it's huge for him, you know, and obviously he's had a little break in between that. I can see him getting stronger. You know, his season's not ready to end yet. Ben Whiteman's getting back stronger. You know, it's maybe taken him 1 or 2 games to find his feet again, but looking great. So great experience for some of the young boys, Ben and Malik and Herbie in particular. That these are games that they want to go and play in, whether it be with Doncaster or somebody else in the future, because they'll have tremendous careers.